Hello and happy Saturday, Detroit. Thank you for tuning in again. Another week of Beauty in the D, where we discuss power, wealth, and style. Of course, every week we bring you nothing but the best guests, and this week will not be anything different. I have with me today Mr. Christian Harris. He is a dynamic speaker, coach, and consultant dedicated to advancing leadership, equity, and reparative justice. He began his career as an entrepreneur before stepping into public service, nonprofit leadership, and consulting. He served in leadership on political campaigns, including Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson's, and served in other leadership roles that centered anti racism, equity, and community impact. He now serves as the first executive director of Reparation Generation, a national nonprofit with deep roots in Detroit, working to address the historical and systematic injustices faced by Black American communities. Outside of his professional life, Christian is a husband, father, and proud advocate for community repair and justice. In 2024, Christian became the first executive director of Reparation Generation, a growing nonprofit dedicated to addressing the historic and systematic injustices faced by by Black American communities. In this role, Christian works daily to fulfill his calling of helping our nation to do right by his ancestors and their descendants. Under his leadership, the organization will be scaling its impact and championing reparative justice on both a local and national scale. Thank you so much for being here today, Christian.
Thank you for having me, Stephanie.
Thank you for having me,
Thanks for
Stephanie,
everything you do
and thanks for everything you do
via Detroit
for via
through this
Detroit
podcast and all your other work.
through this podcast and all your other work.
Thank you. And I appreciate this is my first time doing a remote guest. Usually I'm sitting across from them. So I think you just started something, a new trend for me.
Oh, well,
Yes.
Seems like it's
well,
working well.
seems like it's
Glad to be
working
here,
well.
and
I'm
Oh,
glad
yeah.
to be here, and
adapting your
thank you
model.
for adapting your model.
Happy to have you here all the way from the Shy, by the way.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
So, for those who don't know what Reparation Generation is, can you explain it and define what is Reparation Generation?
Yeah,
Thanks for asking.
yeah. Thanks for asking.
We are a national
We
nonprofit
are a
with the
national
mission
nonprofit
to be the
with the
generation
mission
of
to be the
Americans
generation
who
of
passes a
Americans
federal
who
reparations
passes a
program
federal
for
reparations
Black
program
Americans
for
for
Black
the
Americans
unjust,
for
systematic
the
denial
unjust,
of
systematic
constitutional
denial
rights
of
of Black
constitutional
Americans
rights
well
of
into
Black
the
Americans
21st century.
well into the 21st century.
And really how we
And
do that,
really how we do
modeling
that,
reparative action,
modeling reparative action,
trying to
trying
evaluate
to
the,
evaluate
trying to
the,
answer questions like,
trying to
did this
answer
repair
questions
impact
like,
real harm?
did this
Did
repair
it create
impact real
wealth?
harm?
Did it
Did it
benefit
create
the
wealth?
community?
Did it benefit
Did it
the
benefit the
community?
contributor
Did it benefit the
well
contributor
as the
as
helping?
well as the
And
recipient?
through our
And
reparative evaluation
through our reparative
process, we
evaluation
evaluate that
process,
data.
we evaluate that
Where we take that data
uh,
and
where
pass it
where we
along
take
to
that data and pass it
policymakers
along to
on the
policymakers
reparations movement
on the
and try to
reparations
bolster the
movement
case
and
for a
try to
federal
bolster the
reparations
case for a
program,
federal
and then
reparations
also
program,
show the
and then
efficacy
also
of
show the
reparative.
efficacy of reparative action.
Okay. Our engineering is like I can hear you, but it's a little choppy. Is there you don't have anything else on like a phone or something that's taken
No,
away?
no.
No? Okay. Maybe well, I hate to make you feel like you're screaming, but maybe if you could speak up a little louder
Okay,
cuz I
okay,
want the audience to be able to hear everything that you're saying. This is an important topic.
okay,
How
okay.
did you get involved with Reparation Generation?
Yeah, it's an
Yeah,
interesting story.
it's
I'll
an
talk a
interesting
bit.
Are you on
story.
mute? I
I'll
can't hear
talk a
you at
bit.
all.
No, not on mute.
No, not on mute.
Can't hear anything.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Um,
Um,
testing, testing.
testing.
Hello? Hello? Testing
I
one.
think we
Testing one.
lost him here in the studio. While we're trying to get Christian's audio back, I'll just talk about my experience with Reparation Generation. I went through the program actually twice. The first time was unsuccessful because I didn't have all of my ducks in a row as it pertained and lined up with their guidelines and checklists. Um, and then the second go round, I did get in, and I'm proud to say that, receiving that $25,000 reparative transfer. And anytime you want to jump in, Christian, go
Okay.
ahead. I'm just
Yeah.
speaking because
Okay.
I
I'm here.
can't
Yeah.
hear you.
I am here. I'm here. Yeah. I am here. Can you hear me? Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay. Let's try logging you off, log off, and log back in.
Okay.
Okay, so we're having some technical difficulties, but this day, every show is one for being a D. But this is, we're going to talk about my experience as well as the program. And this is a national program, but it is deeply rooted in the city of Detroit. I have no idea why it's deeply rooted in the city of Detroit, but I'm going to ask those questions today. I'm just happy that it is. But me receiving that reparative transfer, it shaved several years, about 10 years off of my mortgage, okay? And in going through the process, I met with a genealogy consultant. And let me just say this, it's like having ancestry.com like on steroids, okay? And it was able to trace my family history back to Athens, Georgia, to the year, it was around 1880. And it was an emotional revelation for me because I saw that my great great grandfather, we didn't have any idea as to what year he was born because they weren't doing the census back then. I mean, you got to think slavery had just ended in 1865 with the Emancipation Proclamation. So there weren't any exact dates of his birth, but there was a makeshift graveyard that I was able to see going through this program that showed when he did pass away. So it was very revealing. It was just, it was really a great process. So, what two great things to go together to find out your lineage, to find out about your ancestors, and to be able to purchase a home and build a legacy as well. So, if you know me, you know that my legacy is London. The business is London. Everything I do is London. To leave my mark and build my legacy as well. And I was able to do that with Reparation Generation. Okay, I think we've got Christian back. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Okay. Wow. Sure.
You have your
Sure.
mic and your volume turned up because I was able to hear you previously. It was a little choppy, but at least I was able to somewhat hear.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Now I can. What did you do? Now it went back
Switch
off.
to the same microphone. Switch to the same microphone.
Now I can.
Okay. All right.
Keep
We're
talking.
good. Okay. All right. We're good.
And I
Good.
hear you better than before.
Okay,
Yay.
Okay, good.
Okay,
Okay,
so
good.
I'm going to go back to the last question. How did you become involved with Reparation Generation?
Yeah, it really starts from my journey into reparations. It's really a lifelong journey. It's really a lifelong journey. Growing up in a black church, theology church, south side of Chicago, to always centering the ideals of economic justice, and racial justice, each child through some of my experiences. But more recently, I mentioned that I live in Chicago, and Evanston, Illinois, first municipally funded reparations program in the country. And
Wow.
when I saw that, I was living just west of the city at the time, and what is often called like a sister or a cousin. Evans. And I was
Okay.
intrigued because we were so far moving the conversation forward, and the sisters, supposedly cousin town, they had already moved this program forward and passed it in Evans. And so it really made me think, why are we so far? Why are we so far here? What did they do to get the conversation moving forward there? And so I began to go up there to meetings with interface with people on all sides of the issue in Evanston, really learn and realize that I wanted to move forward in my hometown, and ended up launching a reparations task force in Oak Park. Ended up studying the history of reparations throughout the world, instances like South Africa. We ended up studying the history of Oak Park in depth, and learning about the Black community that was firebombed, and no different than the parts of Detroit, as I've gotten to learn the
I
history
think
of
Chicago and Detroit are like twin cities, but yeah.
similar stories, definitely strong history of the Black community there as well, and a lot of love, for Black people in both cities too.
Yes, a lot of love.
I feel that all the time. Interact with the people in Chicago and Chicago. But to direct that story, launch that eventually produced a report that went out to contribute Black folks, Black behind that, and that whole process launched me into the movement. Being connected. The whole process launched me into in 2020. I really got to interface with people throughout the country. And eventually, when I sold my business in 2023, and also launched a new consumer service, in the process of that year and a half, I said, I want to be doing this part-time. I want to be doing justice reparations full time. And positions like this didn't exist the first time. They started being available over the next 6-12 months. And somebody might be, well, part of that's because of the work you put in, stigmatized the word. But I also know that I get on the shoulders many ancestors who never got paid a dime for work, actually lost their livelihood doing this work. And so I'm very thankful to be able to do this work on a daily basis, and think about what repair and healing looks like for me, my ancestors, and my descendants. It's pretty special.
Available. Okay, you're back.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, continue where you left off.
Um, All right. That was just that first on the TV was like this really
I'm catching like every other word. I'm sorry.
Do you want to
You said what?
you want to try going on your
Me going on mute?
yeah.
Okay. Can we mute me back there? Am I muted? I don't know. This is bear with us. This is a test for all of us. My first time not having someone in the studio. So, oh, okay, okay. Maybe we could do a call in, Christian, because he can't mute me. And now you're back.
This any better?
Okay,
Yeah.
keep talking. I'm sorry. What?
Testing.
I can hear you much better now.
Okay.
Okay.
I can still call it if you all send me the
No, this is
number.
better. Like it's not chopping up, so we could keep rolling like this. We got a great show.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm gonna try
so
to talk a little slower.
how did the reparation program ended up rooted with its roots in Detroit? How did we get so lucky?
Yeah. Well, I
I guess
guess first thing I would say is luck is an interesting word when it comes to reparation.
Hmm.
Because it's money owed that is
long
long
overdue
overdue
and
and
also
also
more
more
than
than
deserved.
deserved.
So
So
yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know
that
that
it's
it's
luck,
luck, but
would
I would
frame
frame
it
it
as
as
thankful
thankful
that
that
they're
we're
there
there
and
and
doing the
doing
work
the work
that
that
we're
we're
able
able
to
to
do
do
in
in
Detroit.
Detroit.
But
But
how it
how it
happened
happened
was
was
I
I
a
a
group
group
of
of
people
people
in
in
the
the
Wake
Wake
Corridor of
corridor of
Georgia
Georgia
came
came
together
together
in
in
the
the
area.
area.
Were
We're
mostly
mostly
white
white
folk,
folk
and
and
said
said
we
we
have to
have
do
to do
more.
more.
We
We
haven't been
haven't been
doing
doing
enough.
enough.
How
How
do
do
we
we
have
maybe
an
have an
impact
impact
with
with
our
our
influence
influence,
and our
our
privilege
privilege
on
on
the Black
Black
community?
community?
And
And
quickly
quickly
realized
realized
that
that
we
we
did
did
not
not
want to
want to
be
be
the
the
ones
ones
leading
leading
these
these
efforts
efforts
or
or
prescribing
prescribing
solutions
solutions
onto the
onto the
Black
Black
community.
community.
And
And
so
so
looking for
looking for
partners that they
that they
could
could
partner
partner
with
with
on
on
ideas.
ideas.
And
And
they
they
got
got
connected
connected
with
with
FGD
FGD
in
in
Detroit.
Detroit.
And so
And
they
so they
started
started
meeting
meeting
seven
7
white
white
Americans,
Americans,
mostly from
mostly
the
from the
Bay
Bay
Area,
Area,
and
and
11
11
Black
Black
Americans,
Americans,
all
all
from
from
the
the
Detroit
Detroit
area,
area,
to
Hmm.
to
really
really
work
work
together
together
towards
towards
an
an
idea
idea
that
that
eventually
eventually
became
became
generation to
generation
generation.
generation.
And
And
when
when
it
it
came
came
time
time
to,
to,
once we
once
got
we got
our
our
mission
mission
and
and
our
our
vision
vision
and
and
our
our
guiding
guiding
principles,
principles,
it
it
came
came
time to
time to
decide
decide
what
what
we
we
were
were
going to
going to
model
model
our
our
programming,
programming,
particularly our
particularly our
flagship
flagship
program,
program,
home
home
ownership
ownership
comparative
comparative
transfer
transfer
program.
program.
And
And
the
the
Black
Black
Board
Board
members,
members,
you
you
know,
know,
we
we
are
are
intentionally a
intentionally a
Black-led
Black-led
organization
organization
where
where
high-level
high-level
strategic
strategic
and
and
programmatic
programmatic
decisions
decisions
are
are
decided by
decided
our
by our
Black
Black
board
board
members.
members.
They
They
made the
made the
decision
decision
that they
that they
wanted
wanted
to
to
run that
run that
program
program
in
in
Detroit.
Detroit.
And
And
as you
as you
know,
know,
and
and
all
all
the
the
listeners
listeners
know,
know,
Detroit,
Detroit,
as
as
of
of
any
any
place in the
place in the
country,
country,
shows
shows
resilience,
resilience,
but
but
also
also
all
all
the
the
harm
harm
that
that
Black
Black
people
people
have
have
endured
endured
in this
in this
country.
country.
And
And
it's
it's
a
a
place
place
where we
where we
were
were
excited to
excited to
bring a
bring a
model of
model of
care
care
that can be
be
scaled
scaled
and
and
done for
done for
more
more
folks,
folks,
and
and
also
also
a
a
place
place
where
where
we
we
really
really
thought that
thought
we
that
would
we would
be able
be
to have
able
a
to have
lot
a
of
lot of
support
support
as
as
well.
well.
Well, I'm saying thank you as a
Mhm.
recipient, and I'm saying thank you on behalf of the other recipients as well. Um, I'm going to see if we can have you call in because it's still catching like every other word and it's kind of low. So give me 1 second. I need the engineer to come in here and see how can we get you called in. The volume is just low on your end, and it's like I don't know. It's like I'm strain. If I'm straining, then I'm sure the that's how it's rolling out live. um, can we get a call in? Okay, just keep speaking slow. He's going to flash the phone number so you can call in so we can
Okay.
get a better audio.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. But again, so going back to what you said about Detroit being resilient, I gotta kind of chime in on that. I do see that we have had a bad rep forever in Detroit. You know, I mean, just across the nation. We were once a thriving city, Motown. This was like the place where you really could make it in the middle class, and the city did take a turn, um, and we were just getting a lot of bad publicity about the things that were happening here. but there has been an increase in home ownership, and thank you to you guys and a lot of other factors that have contributed to that. But we are resilient, and we're on a come up, and now we're getting good publicity. As a matter of fact, Time Magazine has done a story and said that we have like one of the largest corridors of black owned businesses. And then, we have a great waterfront, and we're attracting tourists, which is not something that we were always, that we were doing for a while. Did that, and then we're so close to Canada, you could throw a rock there, you know what I mean? Not literally, but there is a lot that borders the city of Detroit. Was that number able to come up for you? I can see it on my end. Can you see it? 313-427-2032.
Seems like it's going straight voicemail.
Okay. I don't know. We're just going to try to get through this. In addition to Reparation Generation, I see in 2023, you founded Kindred Keynotes and Coaching, KKC, and the mission is to equip organizations and social justice advocates with the resources that they need to create a more just and equitable world through engaging keynote speeches, personalized coaching, diversity, equity, and inclusion consulting. You've helped a lot of individuals and organizations strengthen their commitment to DEI and living authentically. Is that located in Chicago as well?
Yeah, we're organized all over the country. Definitely based in Chicago. Really founded that business with the belief that when people lead authentic, purpose-driven lives, it will lean towards equity and justice. And that many times we feel pulled away from that because of what society tells us we're supposed to do, or what we feel like we have to do to survive. But I try to help bring people back to that. What is your truly authentic self?
So what is that? I need you to break that down for me. What is a truly authentic, purpose-driven life, and how does one find their authentic purpose? Because maybe a lot of people aren't living their authentic, purpose-driven life because they don't know what it is.
Right. I have a process I take with them, which is the process that I go through.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll talk a little bit about that. So in 2017, the decision from our Black Word and tough phrase 10 candidates for seats, but was able to secure a seat on that board. We're proud of a lot of the work that they've done that board. Passing our first generation strategic plan. Expanding the way we get our benefits, and all staff and access to them, changing the way we write Black patrons and our homeless and unhoused patrons. I must have really liked the Village Board for our 2019, another tough election, 11 candidates, three seats, and did not win that election, and throughout that election was having a lot of anxiety and a lot of issues as far as people in the community, wanting to meet with me because they disagree with my positions.
120 days within. Okay, you're back because you were freezing. You had frozen. Okay.
Oh. Sure. Well, is it perhaps we should try this again another time? I don't know that.
Say that again.
Should we try this another time, or?
We may have to because it's choppy. You're freezing. I don't know if it's on your end or our end. but when you freeze, did you see yourself froze? Like you were froze. And
No, it's just live. The numbers continue to go on my end.
okay, here, there's the number. Do you want to try to call? Okay, Christian. Christian, are you there? It looks like it's on mute. I can't hear anybody but myself. All right. So much for trying something different. I guess remote doesn't work for this show. So let me get back into the reparative transfer then. So if you are a real estate professional and you have some clients that you're working with, and when I say real estate professional, I mean like to my realtors, lenders. If you're working with someone and they are within 120 days of purchasing a home, like from start to finish, and they're African American and their descent of slavery, then this program is great for them. It doesn't cost you anything. Go ahead and try it out. There are virtual orientations for the remainder of this month every Wednesday from 12 to 1 and every Sunday from 7 to 8. Christian, are you back?
I am. I'm trying to call it off my phone, seeing if that is any better.
It is, and I hear you a lot better. Yes.
Okay, great.
So let's go back to, because I really want to hear your answer for what is the process for a authentic, purpose-driven life.
Yes. So starting back over in 2017, made the decision to run for the Oak Park, Illinois Library Board.
The library what?
It's called the Library Board.
Okay.
And so Illinois, that's an elected position. We are often top two or three states in the nation with the most elected officials.
Okay.
Because things like that are elected positions. But I did have to run 10 candidates for 4 seats, and eventually did secure a seat on the Oak Park Library Board, and very proud of a lot of the work we did there. Passing our first anti-racist strategic plan and passing programs that allow benefits to expand to all of our staff, not just the leadership staff, etc. And so I must have really liked it because I decided to run for the Village Board in 2019, which is kind of city council equivalent. And that was another tough race, 11 candidates for 3 seats,
Wow,
both
that was
unprecedented.
Mm-hmm.
Numbers of candidates. And lost that election. Throughout the election, was really struggling with a lot of anxiety, was struggling with a lot of stress. I was continuing to run a business throughout that election. And when I lost, I realized after some months that something just felt really unaligned, that I just didn't feel like I had been my truest, authentic self. I tried to take a very middle of the road approach to, and when they go low, we go high type of approach and to politics, and it hadn't worked. I still had lost, and I didn't feel like I was being my most authentic self. And that really began a 3-year process of me redesigning my life into one that felt authentic. And during that time, made many changes, from selling my business to moving from the suburbs into the heart of the city of Chicago. We moved into the west side and eventually on to the south side. To becoming more vocal and unapologetic about the things I believed in. And one of those was reparations. And so for me, what I did in that process was really engage with my strengths. And so one of the things that I use in my coaching is this thing called the Gallup Clifton Strengths Assessment.
Yes, I
And
see
it's
that here. That's a certification, correct?
that's
Okay.
correct. That's
Okay.
correct. And it's a great assessment. I know assessments sometimes get a bad rap. Speaking of bad raps, as you were earlier in the call, assessments sometimes get a bad rap. But I love this one because it really tells you what your innate strengths are, the things that nobody else can take away from you, what you were born with. And particularly as Black people, particularly I've seen in my coaching, Black women and women of color, they've often been told their greatest strengths are their greatest weaknesses, and reframing them as strengths and is just powerful. Giving people language to articulate their strengths to other people helps them feel seen in the workplace. And I always say such a big part of inclusion is just being seen. And so giving people language to be seen, and also for others to see you like, oh, that's the value you bring to the workplace. Okay, this is how I should interact with you for best results. And so that's a big piece of it, is engaging with those strengths. And I have found that when people are utilizing their strengths on a daily basis, they lead happier, more successful, more authentic lives. And that's successful is by their definition. It's not by society's definition of what is successful. It's living out your own version of success. And so that's a big part of what we do. We also identify your values and your core principles, the things that you're not willing to compromise on. I always find that's an important thing to do, because there are some things you're not going to want to fight every battle. What are those battles that no matter what, no matter when, no matter who, that is what you're going to stand on. And we identify those. And then through coaching, really hold people accountable to both of those things. We set goals, we create action steps towards those goals, and really help move people towards that more authentic life.
So do you do this for individuals, or is this more like for businesses to, help bring out your best productivity, or is this for both?
Primarily do it with individuals now. Since I took the role with Reparation Generation, I've tried to focus a lot of. Sorry, what was that?
You're more like a life coach.
Yes, I call it authenticity coaching, but it is a version of life coaching.
Okay. So how do people find you, and how can they secure your services, and how big is the team?
Sure. Yeah. KendrickKeynoteSandCoaching.com. They can find me on KendrickKeynoteSandCoaching.com. They can find me on LinkedIn, Christian Harris. We also have a page on LinkedIn, Kendrick Keynotes and Coaching. And happy to talk to anybody about what it would look like. My bandwidth is a lot less because I am also executive director at Reparation Generation. Do still take on clients, but do also have a team of folks that I work with. I am not the right fit, and point you in the right direction of who I think I am, who I think is a better fit, I should say. And so I recognize I cannot coach everybody. Because I am not the right coach for everybody. And so definitely, and always being such a believer in this work, I am happy to point people into direction, even when I can't take them on myself.
Okay. How long is the overall process to, finding your authentic, purpose-driven self?
It really is no timeline on it, because it's takes constant learning, unlearning, and relearning. And once you find it, you have to maintain that life. And I often use the example of I'll walk you through one of the things I do in a coaching session. So think about a cup. Oh, there we go. The cup that you are drinking from right now. What is the purpose of that cup?
To hold liquid, hot and cold.
Perfect. What's something else that could be used for?
Say that again. You said what?
What's something else that cup could be used for?
Drinking. Uh,
You
I
could
don't
put
know.
some dirt inside it and plant some flowers.
I guess you
You
could.
could use it to hit somebody over the head. You could,
I guess I could.
use it to water some plants.
Yeah.
The idea there is that it was originally designed for one purpose, or it had one purpose in mind, but that purpose can change throughout its life, the life of that club. And it's really no different for us as well. Just because what you're called to do in one moment doesn't mean that you will always be called to do that thing that way. And so sometimes it's about finding the different seasons of your life and what you're being called to do at that particular moment. And so that's why I say it's really no timeline to it. Most people do find like the root of it. So like for me, my most authentic self is when I am doing work that is helping this nation do right by my ancestors and their descendants. And that's my calling. I'll say, like, I'm here to help this nation do right by my ancestors and their descendants. And so everything that I do fits into that. I might do it differently, at different times in my life, but everything is always going to come back to that. And most people have that as well.
You're right, because like you said, we have different seasons, or I like to refer to them as different chapters. Especially the older you get, your priorities change, and it's just some things you're just gonna stand 10 toes down on. You can't bend, and then there are some things where, in your life you may become more flexible with. But for someone to schedule a consultation with you, Christian, what does that look like? Do they have to be in the Chicago area? And what is the cost?
Yeah. Thanks for asking. They could reach out to me at KendrickKeynoteCoaching.com. There's a link right on my website where you can book a discovery session with me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we start. And the process really looks like people sign up for that discovery session. I get to know them a little bit better. If I think we're a good fit, ask them to take the the Gallup Clifton Strengths Assessment.
Mm-hmm.
After they take that, they come back and have another session with me where I walk them through and show what some of the things we might do in a coaching session. And then at that point, if they feel that I'm a good coaching fit, and if they like what they think they can get out of this coaching session, and think I can add value, they can then go ahead and choose to sign up for services. I do something called equitable pricing, where I have three different levels. A reparative level, you know me, my values, the work that I do. So I have a reparative level, I have kind of redistributive level, and then I have a pay what you can level. And literally that is pay what you can. And so I really try to meet people where they're at. And I have guidance on how to select which rate is right for you based on things like, can you afford to save? Can you go on vacation twice a year? Moving on to the pay what you can rate. Have your ancestors been historically discriminated against? And so you get to look at those criteria and kind of decide what's right for you. I don't tell you what's right.
Mm-hmm.
And I just tell you how many slots I have open at the different levels. And then we take it from there and start our relationship.
Sounds unreal, Christian.
I can see
know it's
that.
real, but I'm saying, like, it sounds like too good to be true. And I love your passion for your mission.
Yeah. Thank you. It's really important to me to live out my values, not just talk about them. And so sometimes that means me getting a little bit less, but it's creating the world I want to see, one action at a time, sharing my models with people. And I am thankful to say I'm not the only coach
Right.
that does this as well. I actually got the idea for this framework from my former coach. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So the 34 strong Gallup Clifton Strengths, when you received that certificate in 2019, how long was that process?
It's pretty quick. I mean, not pretty. It didn't take years. About 3 months, and I was up to speed on everything.
Okay. Now, what does a typical day working for a reparation generation, what does that consist of? And when you had froze for a minute, I was, just speaking, and I was talking about how, when I went through the program, reparation generation seemed like these invisible people. Right.
And now I'm off camera.
But you're visible now. So what does, an ordinary, typical day look like for you as the executive director for Reparation Generation?
There really is no typical day because we do so much, and I can give you all a little preview of some of what we do. But typically, I wake up. Depending on if my 18-month-old is up yet, we'll give her a kiss and a hug. And then I try to get a quick workout in about 30-40 minutes. Hop in the shower, get out, and then check my email. And sometimes there are things that I need to adjust immediately. And sometimes there are I can go forward with my plan on the day. So we have four different programs. We have our home ownership reparative transfer program.
Okay.
That is the program that you participated in, and provides $25,000 reparative transfers of wealth to Black people in the process of purchasing a home in Metro Detroit. And the process of that, because we do require that you be able to trace your lineage from an enslaved person in the United States. You take a restorative genealogy consultation to connect with your family. Tell me about that process for you.
Yep. So I had mentioned it a little bit when you were frozen. It went back to 1880, right? So obviously I met with Kelly. And it was emotional for me. And I'll tell you why. Because she was able to even dig up an old makeshift grave, okay, that my ancestors had put together for my great-great-grandfather, right? Well, and it was just a dash with when he died. Because there were no census, there were no birth certificates, I mean, hell, slavery had just ended in 1865, okay, with the Emancipation Proclamation. And so this was dug up, this not dug up because they were real people, in 1880. And then come to find out that my great-grandfather was a sharecropper, and he had people working for him, and that was like eye-opening, and I was like, okay, well, I see where the entrepreneur bug was genetic for me, and I didn't even know, and went back to Athens, Georgia. So it was just eye-opening and enlightening for me. I was able to share this information, with some of my family members as well. As a matter of fact, I'll be taking a trip there next week.
Wow.
In hopes of, going to look for some of my, correlating what she found to today.
So it's so crazy, and that's why I love these conversations. I have people from Athens.
You're right, my cousin.
I'm sure our families know each other. My great grandparents in Athens. Sorry, am I breaking up?
You back now.
Okay. We went down there 2 years ago. Athens and
to go to the
addresses
of the
homes on the census record.
Yes.
And one of them had just been completely eaten up by the University of Georgia. Just it was gone. It was just now part of the campus.
The other one, the house was long gone,
but was still a predominantly black part of town,
just much
smaller, and then it was to begin with a chance to talk to the people that live nearby, what the community used to be, and it was a powerful, sure, and a big part of my journey into this work as well. That took place in 1992. True. I'm wishing you the best. Truly like a privilege.
I'm excited.
Yeah, you should. I'm
Yeah,
excited
and so
for
that
you.
was going to be my question to you. Honestly, you must be in my head. I was going to say, have you participated in the genealogy process? And so obviously you have.
I'm very blessed to say that my dad has done 30 years of genealogy work and is able to trace us back to 1807.
1807.
My 1807.
Wow.
He was born in Virginia or Georgia. No, the marriage certificate says something and the death certificate says something different. So we're not exactly sure. Maybe he found out something in light that made them put that on the death certificate. Unsure. But he was born in 1807, lived free man in 1860. We actually found voter registration card on ancestry.com. And think about how you can be so by a country and then turn around and say I'm still gonna participate in the democracy, still gonna try to make that thing better.
Yeah.
And then I remember it's not make everything getting a little bit.
Throwing it back to you, and you're breaking up again. Throwing it back to you with your genetics. This is obviously where you got it from. You know, that passion to make a difference, to keep it going.
Yes. I always say I was raised by a history black woman lawyer, and a black reality show on the top side of Chicago. It's not way. It's Let me try
Okay, you were breaking up. Really didn't hear that last part, Christian. Okay, so Christian is gone. And believe it or not, we only have a few minutes left for the remainder of the show. I think he's coming back.
I was getting a lot of feedback, so I thought I'd try to refresh.
Thank you, because I wasn't able to hear you very well. So the show is technically 50 minutes. We got about a minute left. I know that time goes by like super fast. But what do you want people to know about you, Christian, and what do you want them to know about reparation? Because you're great with what you're doing, and reparation is great with what their mission and what they're doing. What do you want people to know about you and Reparation Generation?
I want people to remember. That reparations is really about healing. We often get caught up in the conversation and how much you're owed and never do that. And really resetting why they you and your ancestors traumas that you have experienced.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch any of that, but I hope you can hear me. Thank you so much for joining the show. When you come into town, into Detroit, we're going to have to sit down and do this face to face, you and I. Plus, connect our energies. It's always good having the energy in the room. But thank you again for being here. Thank you, Detroit, for tuning in to another edition of Beauty in the D, where we focus on power, wealth, and style. We're streaming here live on YouTube and other top social media platforms every Saturday from 1 to 2 on WJZZ Cool TV. Thank you again. I love you, Detroit, and I'll see you the same place